Manchester United favourites at home against Burnley. If they don't win, how much pressure is he under?
None. Zero. If he lost this game, he'd still be in the job Monday morning. You know, there's no question right now that unless his team goes on a ridiculously bad run they did at the end of last season, there's no way he gets the sack. He can get through the rest of this year, in my opinion, winning, losing, drawing, winning, lose, draw, win, lose, draw. You know, inconsistent. Regardless of whether they get in the top four, I don't see this guy being out of a job in the summer.
Let's have a look at the recent fixtures. And you're saying there's been a bit of inconsistency about Manchester United. The defeat at Liverpool, look, most teams have lost to Liverpool. There's wins against Wolves and Norwich in there. I mean, the Man City, Wolves and Arsenal game, they've got some good results, but they've thrown in some poor results. It is that inconsistency. Does that have to improve between now and the end of the season so that Gunnar Solskjaer is not kind of thinking, ooh, am I still going to be boss next season?
I don't see how it changes. You know, you look at this guy, and the reason they're winning, losing, drawing, is really not down to him, in my opinion. It's down to what they have on the field. And so we can talk all we want about how inexperienced he is. At the end of the day, what Manchester United are putting on the field isn't good enough to consistently win in the Premier League. You know, they've had some decent performances and they've had some decent results, but for as many of those, they've had some horrible games as well. This guy, to me, is absolutely safe. This rhetoric that's convinced everybody that, well, it's a project. I mean, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's talking this morning about how we could see progress against Liverpool. Are you kidding me? This was men against boys. So, listen, until they change what's on the field, he's going to be all right.
30-point gap between United and Liverpool. And you're speaking about winning the league. That's not them right now. They're nowhere near winning the title. If we take a look at the league table right now, forget Liverpool and forget Manchester City at the top. This is what they're at right now. They're fifth. They've still got a decent enough chance of Champions League, although they're 5 points behind Chelsea. But look at the teams below them. There's just as much chance of any of them going on a run and overtaking them. So United in fifth right now. Is that acceptable for the players that he has at his disposal?
I think so. I think it is. And I think that's probably why he's not under pressure to be sacked. Because of the players they have, it's acceptable for them to be fighting for a top four spot.
At the weekend, Gary Neville on Sky in the UK had a go at Ed Woodward. Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's come out today and said that was maybe a bit unfair. But is it unfair that we're talking about him, as you say, he'll probably be there till the end of the season, and that once someone of importance like Gary Neville comes out and has a go at Ed Woodward, he gets shot down? Is Ed Woodward and the hierarchy at Old Trafford the problem?
100%.
How do you change that?
The only way it's going to change is if, for some strange reason, the owners get involved, which they haven't. They've pretty much passed every single thing along to Woodward. So that means that it's going to have to come from him. When is he going to realise that he's doing a bad job of supplying managers and supplying players? If he's in charge of all that and he's picking the people to get the players and he's picking the managers, as soon as he realises this isn't his bag, this is not, he's got to sit down and look in the mirror and say, you know what, I've done a bad job of this. I might be doing a great job in the commercial side. I'm doing a bad job of this. I need to change it.
Would he do that? Would he do that? He right now.
Well, here's a problem. He has to do it, because if he doesn't, nothing's going to change.
But he is the
unless
chief
he gets
executive.
Lucky. Unless he gets lucky.
Well, he's the chief executive of the Self-Preservation Society, right? You're not going to turn around one morning and go, you know what? I don't think I've been doing a good job. Because why would you? If you know you're getting paid a king's ransom for what you're doing, he'll probably privately admit he could have done a better job. But he's at the top of the tree right now. How do you get rid of someone like that if the owners aren't prepared to dabble a bit more?
He has to get rid of himself. He has to get rid. How else is it going to change if he's going to be in charge and the Glazers are going to, regardless of what happens, because over the last, 6 years?
They've not really been involved at all.
Nothing. They've just let him. They've let him run the club down as far as what's on the field's concerned. So why would they change anything? So it can only be him. And if he doesn't change, then guess what? They're going to end up doing a Liverpool, and it's going to be 30 years before they win another title.
Final question. If he has a win, draw, loss, inconsistent season from now till the end, and Pochettino's still available with no clause come the summer, do they go after him?
They should. But will they? I'm not so sure. If they didn't really think he was the man for the job right now, there's no reason why they wouldn't have gone for Poch already. So I think this guy's safe until this time next year.
Might not be him that's the problem, but higher upstairs, according to Stevie Nicol.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.